The stars looked different now, Alex Turner thought as he stared out the window of his ship. 50 years had passed since anyone heard from Earth, and the Galactic Council had finally decided to send someone to check what happened. Alex commanded the exploration vessel Deep Horizon, and today they would jump into the Sol system to see what remained of humanity's home. Katie Brooks sat at her navigation station, her fingers moving across the controls with practiced ease. She had volunteered for this mission, even though everyone expected to find nothing but empty space. The last message from Earth had been desperate and strange, talking about some kind of stellar event that would destroy everything. After that, silence. Jump coordinates locked in, Katie announced. Her voice carried the same tension that filled the entire bridge. Behind her, Greg Manning checked his science equipment one more time. As the ship's specialist in alien phenomena, he would be the first to analyze whatever they found. Alex nodded and gave the order. Execute jump. The Deep Horizon shifted through space in the blink of an eye. One moment they were at the edge of the system, the next they floated where Earth's orbit should have been. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go quiet. Nothing. Where the blue marble of Earth should have spun in its ancient dance around the sun, there was only empty space. But it was not natural empty space. Greg's instruments immediately started screaming with readings he had never seen before. Captain, Greg said, his voice barely above a whisper, the energy signatures here are impossible. It's like space itself was torn apart and then healed wrong. Katie worked her controls frantically, trying to locate any trace of the planet that once held 8 billion human souls. All the inner planets are gone, she reported. Mars, Venus, Mercury, all of them. Even the asteroid belt has been scattered. Alex felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. He had hoped, despite all logic, that they would find something. Maybe a few survivors on a distant moon or at least wreckage that could tell them what happened. Instead, they found a mystery that seemed to mock the very laws of physics. Take us closer to where Earth should be, Alex ordered. Full sensor sweep. As the Deep Horizon moved through the empty orbital path, their instruments detected traces of something that should not exist. The space around them showed signs of massive gravitational distortions, as if something enormous had twisted reality itself before disappearing. Greg studied his readings with growing amazement and horror. Captain, these energy patterns suggest dimensional manipulation on a scale I've never seen. It's like someone took an entire planet and pushed it sideways through space itself. The implications hit Alex like a physical blow. The galaxy had lost humanity, one of its most innovative and stubborn species, to forces beyond understanding. He thought about the human colonies scattered across known space, small settlements that probably had no idea their homeworld was gone. Meanwhile, light years away on a world called Haven's Edge, Dr. Lisa Crawford tended to her small garden behind the research facility. The colony had been built in secret during the final days before Earth's crisis, one of dozens of hidden settlements meant to preserve human civilization if the worst happened. Now Lisa and her fellow survivors believed they were all that remained of their species. The colony on Haven's Edge had grown slowly over the decades, its 3,000 inhabitants working to build something new while mourning what they had lost. Lisa's daughter Amy had been just a child when they evacuated Earth. Now she was a brilliant engineer who helped design the colony's defense systems and power grid. Mom, we're getting those strange readings again, Amy called from the communications center. For months, their deep space sensors had been picking up unusual signals from the direction of old human space. Most colonists thought it was just cosmic background radiation, but Amy suspected something more. Lisa walked over to examine the data. The patterns were too regular to be natural, but they did not match any known alien technology either. Have you tried running it through the old Earth communication protocols? She asked. Amy shook her head. Those frequencies have been dead for 50 years. Nobody uses them anymore. But Lisa remembered the old days when humanity was still united under one sky. She had helped design some of those communication systems herself, back when she was a young scientist on Earth. Try it anyway, she said. Sometimes old solutions work for new problems. Back in the Sol system, Alex made a decision that would change everything. Instead of returning immediately to report their findings, he ordered a complete search of the outer system. If Earth was truly gone, he wanted to understand how and why. Take us to Jupiter, he commanded. If anything survived whatever happened here, it would be in the outer system. The deep horizon spent the next week cataloging the destruction. Jupiter's moons showed signs of massive tidal forces that had reshaped their surfaces. Saturn's rings had been scattered into new configurations. The gas giants themselves seemed unchanged, but their satellite systems told a story of incredible violence. Greg worked tirelessly to piece together what had happened. His best theory involved some kind of dimensional weapon or natural phenomenon that had selectively removed the inner planets while leaving the outer system largely intact. But the precision required for such an event seemed impossible, even for the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. It's like someone reached into our reality and pulled Earth sideways into somewhere else, he explained to Alex during one of their daily briefings. The energy required would be enormous, more than entire star systems produce in centuries. Alex studied the reports with growing unease. The Galactic Council needed to know about this, but he was not sure how to explain something that seemed to violate everything they knew about physics. How do you tell an entire galaxy that one of its member species had simply vanished from existence? As the Deep Horizon prepared to leave the Sol system, none of its crew noticed the faint energy signature that pulsed once every 24 hours from the exact spot where Earth used to be. The pulse was too weak for their instruments to detect, but it carried a message that would have changed everything. Earth was not destroyed. Earth was coming back, and when it returned, it would bring with it technologies and capabilities that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy forever. But for now, the Sol system kept its secrets, and the Galactic Council would mark humanity as another casualty of cosmic forces beyond their control. The age of human weakness was ending. The age of human supremacy was about to begin. 30 years had passed since Alex Turner's mission to the empty Sol system, and the galaxy had moved on from the mystery of Earth's disappearance. Trade routes avoided the dead system, and historians recorded humanity as another species lost to cosmic forces. But across the galaxy, something new was stirring in the darkness between stars. Captain Ryan Foster guided his merchant vessel Star Trader through the Vega sector when his sensors detected something impossible. A ship appeared on his screens that matched no design in any galactic database. The vessel seemed to shimmer in and out of existence, like a mirage in space that his instruments could barely track. "This is merchant vessel Star Trader to unknown ship," Ryan broadcast on standard frequencies. "Please identify yourself and state your intentions." The response came immediately, but not through normal communications. The words appeared directly in Ryan's mind, clear as if someone sat beside him speaking. "We greet you, Captain Foster. We have been waiting for contact." Ryan's hands shook as he reached for his controls. Telepathic communication was known among a few alien species, but this felt different, more precise and controlled than anything he had experienced before. "Who are you? What do you want?" The strange ship moved closer, and Ryan could see its hull seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Parts of it appeared solid, while other sections flickered like ghosts. Through his viewports, he saw a figure materializing on his bridge, a human woman wearing a uniform he did not recognize. "My name is Helen Carter," the woman said, her voice now audible in the normal way. "I captain the vessel you see before you. We represent the survivors of Earth." Ryan stared at her in shock. Everyone knew the stories about Earth's destruction decades ago. The Galactic Council had confirmed the planet's disappearance. "That's impossible," he whispered. "Earth was destroyed. There are only scattered colonies left." Helen smiled, and Ryan noticed her eyes held depths that seemed far older than her apparent age. "Earth was not destroyed, Captain Foster. We were moved, translated to another layer of reality, to escape a stellar catastrophe that would have consumed our entire system. We have spent 50 years learning to exist between dimensions. Across the galaxy, similar encounters began happening with increasing frequency. Ships reported contact with vessels that could appear and disappear at will. The crews of these mysterious ships always identified themselves as humans from Earth, but they possessed technologies that seemed like magic to the rest of the galaxy. On Haven's Edge Colony, Dr. Lisa Crawford was working in her laboratory when every communication device in the settlement activated at once. A voice spoke through all of them simultaneously, clear and strong despite coming from systems that should not have been able to receive such a signal. "This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Fleet, broadcasting to all human settlements. Earth endures. Humanity endures. We are coming home." Lisa dropped the equipment she was holding and ran to find her daughter Amy. Around the colony, people emerged from buildings and workstations, all hearing the same impossible message. Some wept, others cheered, and many simply stood in stunned silence. Amy was in the engineering section when she heard the broadcast. Her instruments showed energy readings unlike anything in their databases, power signatures that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Mom, this is really happening," she said when Lisa found her. "The signal is coming through dimensional layers I didn't even know existed." The message continued, explaining how Earth's greatest scientists had developed technology to shift their entire world into parallel space during the final hours before the stellar catastrophe. While the galaxy thought humanity was extinct, Earth's population had grown and evolved in their hidden dimension, developing capabilities that transcended normal physical limitations. Dr. Peter Hayes spoke next, his voice carrying through the dimensional broadcast to every human settlement in known space. "We have learned to harness the energy that exists between realities. Our ships can travel instantly across galactic distances. Our weapons can strike from dimensions our enemies cannot perceive. Our defenses exist in multiple layers of space simultaneously." In the Galactic Council chambers on Centauri Prime, Chancellor Zara received reports of these strange encounters with growing alarm. Her intelligence networks brought stories of ships that could not be tracked or targeted, humans who claimed their homeworld still existed, and technologies that violated every known law of physics. "How many of these contacts have been confirmed?" she asked her chief advisor. 17 verified encounters in the past month," came the reply. "All involve vessels of unknown configuration manned by humans claiming to be from Earth. They demonstrate capabilities far beyond anything in our databases." Zara studied the reports with increasing unease. The balance of power in the galaxy depended on known quantities and understood limitations. If humanity had truly survived and developed such advanced technology, it would change everything. "Send a message to all member worlds. I want every available sensor array watching for these Earth ships." Meanwhile, on the hidden human colonies, preparations began for something none of them had dared hope for in 50 years. Colony leaders like Dr. Crawford organized their populations for reunion with the homeworld they thought was lost forever. Engineers worked frantically to upgrade their communication systems to interface with Earth's dimensional technology. Helen Carter's ship had become the first official ambassador between the returning Earth and the scattered human settlements. She traveled from colony to colony, explaining how Earth's dimensional translation had been a desperate gambit that succeeded beyond all expectations. "We didn't just survive," she told the colonists. "We evolved. Living between dimensions has changed us. We can perceive layers of reality that others cannot access. We can manipulate energy in ways that seem impossible. When we return to normal space, we will not be the same humanity that left." The galaxy held its breath as reports continued to pour in. Ships that could phase through solid matter, weapons that fired from parallel dimensions, human crews who seemed to know things they could not possibly know. The scattered colonies buzzed with excitement and preparation. On Haven's Edge, Amy Crawford worked day and night to prepare their systems for contact with Earth's dimensional technology. Her mother helped coordinate with other colonies, sharing information and resources as humanity prepared for a reunion 50 years in the making. But in the depths of space, other powers watched these developments with very different emotions. The Dominion Empire had ruled through strength and superior numbers for centuries. The idea of humanity returning with godlike powers threatened everything they had built. Admiral Krex of the Dominion fleet studied the reports and made a decision that would soon shake the galaxy. If humanity thought they could return and upset the established order, they would learn otherwise. The Dominion had crushed species before, and they would do so again. The stage was set for humanity's return, but not everyone would welcome them home. The morning that Earth returned to normal space, every sensor array in the galaxy registered an event that shattered the known laws of physics. Where empty void had existed for 50 years, a blue marble suddenly materialized in its ancient orbit around Sol. But this was not the Earth that had vanished decades ago. The planet flickered between dimensions like a candle flame in cosmic wind. Sometimes it appeared solid and normal, other times it seemed translucent as ghost light. Ships approaching the system found their instruments going haywire as they encountered gravitational fields that existed in multiple layers of reality. Simultaneously, Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship. watching the Galactic Council fleet maintain its nervous distance from Earth's orbital space. His vessel, the Dimensional Gate, existed partially in normal space and partially in the parallel realm where humanity had spent 5 decades evolving. The technology that allowed this seemed like pure magic to outside observers. "Sir, the Council fleet is requesting permission to approach," reported Communications Officer Linda Hayes. "Chancellor Zara herself is aboard their lead vessel." Jake nodded thoughtfully. He had expected this moment since Earth began its return sequence 3 months ago. The galaxy needed to understand that humanity was no longer the species they remembered. Grant them safe passage, but maintain dimensional shields. We don't want any accidents. On the Council flagship, Chancellor Zara stared through her viewports at the impossible sight before her. Earth hung in space like a jewel that refused to stay in one setting. Her science teams worked frantically to understand the energy readings that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Planet appears to exist in at least 4 different dimensional layers simultaneously," reported her chief scientist. "The technology required for such an achievement is beyond our current understanding by centuries." Dr. Peter Hayes materialized on the Council bridge without any transport beam or shuttlecraft. One moment the space was empty. The next he stood there as if he had always been present. The Council security team reached for their weapons before realizing their sensors showed no threat. "Chancellor Zara," Peter said with a respectful nod. "I am Dr. Peter Hayes, Earth's chief dimensional scientist. Admiral Morrison has sent me to explain what you are witnessing." Zara struggled to maintain her composure in the face of technology that seemed to mock every limitation she understood. "Dr. Hayes, our records show Earth was destroyed 50 years ago. How is this possible?" Peter smiled and gestured toward the flickering planet below them. "Earth was never destroyed. When our scientists detected the approaching stellar catastrophe, we made a desperate choice. We translated our entire world into a parallel dimension, a layer of space that exists alongside normal reality but separate from it." He moved to the viewports, and as he spoke, images appeared in the air around him showing Earth's journey through parallel space. "For 50 years we lived and grew in that hidden realm. We learned to harness dimensional energy, to exist in multiple layers of reality at once. Our children were born between worlds, and they developed capabilities that even we find remarkable." On Haven's Edge colony, Dr. Lisa Crawford and her daughter Amy watched in amazement as Earth ships began arriving to escort them home. These vessels defied every engineering principle they knew, phasing in and out of normal space like thoughts becoming solid. Captain Nicole Price commanded the escort fleet that would bring the scattered colonies back to Earth. Her ship, the Phase Walker, could travel across galactic distances in heartbeats by stepping through dimensional shortcuts that bypassed normal space entirely. "Colony Haven's Edge. This is Captain Price of the Earth Defense Fleet. We're here to bring you home," she broadcast to the settlement below. Amy. Crawford worked desperately to prepare their colony ship for a journey using technology she barely understood. The Earth vessels transmitted modification instructions that would allow their old ships to survive dimensional travel, but the concepts involved stretched her engineering knowledge to its limits. "The Earth ships are sending something called dimensional anchors," Amy explained to her mother. "They'll attach to our hull and keep us stable while we travel through parallel space. The journey home will take minutes instead of months." Back in Earth orbit, more Council ships arrived daily as news of humanity's return spread across the galaxy. Admiral Morrison allowed limited delegations to visit Earth's surface, but what they found there challenged their understanding of civilization itself. Cities floated in impossible spirals that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Human children played games that involved manipulating reality with their thoughts. Gardens grew plants that existed partially in normal space and partially in parallel realms, creating beauty that could barely be perceived by non-dimensional beings. The human population had grown to 12 billion during their exile, and every citizen possessed abilities that would have been considered supernatural 50 years ago. They could see into parallel dimensions, manipulate energy fields with their minds, and step briefly between layers of reality. General Marcus Stone led tours for visiting dignitaries, explaining how humanity had adapted to life between worlds. "Living in dimensional space changed us," he told a group of amazed alien ambassadors. "Our children developed new senses, new ways of thinking. We learned to perceive reality as it truly is, not just the single layer most species experience. The scattered human colonies began arriving at Earth within days of the escort missions launching. Colony ships that should have taken months to reach Sol appeared in Earth orbit after dimensional jumps lasting mere hours. Families separated for 50 years embraced on Earth's surface, their joy echoing across dimensional barriers. Dr. Crawford stood in her old laboratory on Earth, now expanded into spaces that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Her daughter Amy marveled at technology that made their colony engineering look primitive by comparison. "We've learned to build with the fabric of space itself," Amy's Earthborn cousin explained. "These laboratories exist in 7 different dimensional layers. We can run experiments that would be impossible in normal space." But not everyone in the galaxy celebrated humanity's return. In the Dominion Empire's war rooms, Admiral Krex studied reports of Earth's capabilities with growing alarm. His empire had ruled through superior firepower and numbers for centuries. The idea of a species that could attack from parallel dimensions threatened everything the Dominion represented. "How do we fight an enemy that can strike from dimensions we cannot even see?" asked his chief strategist. Krex's answer would soon plunge the galaxy into a conflict unlike any in recorded history. "We don't fight them," he said grimly. "We destroy them before they can use their powers against us." Earth had returned, transformed beyond recognition. Humanity now possessed abilities that seemed godlike to other species. But power always came with a price, and the galaxy would soon test whether humanity's new strength could protect them from those who feared what they had become. The age of human dominance was beginning, but it would be baptized in fire. The war drums of the Dominion Empire echoed across 1,000 worlds as Admiral Krex assembled the largest invasion force in galactic history. 5,000 warships gathered at the edge of human space, their hulls bristling with weapons designed to crack planets and burn entire star systems. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy through fear and overwhelming force for 3 centuries, and they would not allow a single species to challenge that dominance. General Marcus Stone watched the enemy fleet approach through Earth's dimensional sensors, instruments that could perceive threats across multiple layers of reality simultaneously. The Dominion force was impressive by any standard, but Marcus had spent 50 years learning the true nature of warfare between dimensions. "They still think in terms of normal space combat," Marcus told Admiral Morrison as they studied the tactical displays. "They see our planet and assume it can be conquered like any other world. They have no idea what they're really attacking." The first Dominion scouts entered the Sol system expecting to find a single planet defended by unknown technology. Instead, they encountered something that broke their understanding of physics and warfare. Earth existed in multiple dimensions at once, meaning any attack had to succeed across several layers of reality simultaneously, or fail completely. Captain Nicole Price led the first response, her squadron of dimensional fighters phasing in and out of normal space like deadly ghosts. Her ships could attack from parallel dimensions while remaining completely invisible to Dominion sensors, striking with weapons that fired from alternate realities. "Enemy scouts neutralized," Nicole reported as the Dominion advance ships simply vanished from existence. "They never saw us coming because we weren't actually in their dimension when we fired." Admiral Krex received the reports of his lost scouts with growing fury. His empire had conquered species with superior technology before, but always through superior numbers and ruthless tactics. The humans seemed to be fighting by completely different rules. "Deploy the siege formations," he ordered. "If we cannot match their technology, we will overwhelm them with sheer firepower." No species can stand against 5,000 warships. The main Dominion fleet arrived in Sol system like a metal storm, their vessels filling space from Mercury's orbit to beyond Mars. Their opening bombardment unleashed enough energy to sterilize a dozen worlds, aimed directly at the blue marble that flickered between dimensions. But Earth's defenses had been designed by minds that understood the true nature of reality. Dr. Peter Hayes had spent decades developing shield systems that existed in multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. The Dominion's devastating attack struck shields that were not entirely in normal space, causing the weapon's energy to be dispersed across parallel dimensions where it could cause no harm. "Bombardment ineffective," reported Krex's tactical officer in disbelief. "The planet appears to be absorbing our weapons fire into alternate dimensions." On Earth's surface, 12 billion humans felt the attack like distant thunder, the dimensional shields converting the deadly energy into harmless light shows across the sky. Children pointed at the pretty colors while their parents prepared for the real battle to begin. Amy Crawford worked frantically in Earth's Dimensional Weapons Control Center, her engineering skills now enhanced by 50 years of human technological evolution. The weapons she helped operate could fire from parallel space directly into enemy ships, bypassing shields and armor that existed only in normal reality. Targeting the enemy flagship, Amy announced. Dimensional torpedoes ready. The Dominion's mighty dreadnought, Krex's personal command ship, shuddered as weapons materialized inside its hull without passing through its defenses. The dimensional torpedoes existed in parallel space until the moment of impact, making them impossible to intercept or defend against. Hull breaches on decks 7 through 15, reported Krex's damage control officer. How did they get weapons past our shields? Dr. Lisa Crawford coordinated the colony defense fleets that had been equipped with Earth's dimensional technology. Ships from Haven's Edge and dozens of other human settlements joined the battle, their crews learning to fight in ways that seemed impossible just months earlier. Colony Fleet Alpha, phase shift and attack from Dimensional Layer 7, Lisa commanded. Colony Fleet Beta, maintain normal space position and provide covering fire. The battle became a demonstration of humanity's complete mastery over dimensional warfare. Human ships appeared and disappeared at will, striking from angles that did not exist in normal space. Dominion vessels found themselves under attack from weapons they could not see, fired by ships they could not target. Captain Ryan Foster, the merchant who had first encountered the returning humans, now commanded a converted cargo ship equipped with dimensional weapons. His vessel could carry supplies to human forces across multiple dimensional layers, keeping them supplied no matter how the battle shifted. "This is incredible," Ryan broadcast to his crew as they watched Dominion ships simply vanish from existence. The humans aren't just winning, they're fighting a completely different kind of war. Admiral Krex's formation began to collapse as ship after ship fell to attacks they could not understand or defend against. His crews reported weapons fire coming from empty space, enemy vessels that appeared for seconds before vanishing again, and damage that seemed to occur without any visible cause. "Sir, we've lost over half the fleet," his tactical officer reported. "Recommend immediate retreat." But Krex's pride would not allow such defeat. "Deploy the Planet Cracker missiles," he ordered. "If we cannot conquer Earth, we will destroy it completely." The Dominion's ultimate weapons launched toward Earth, massive devices designed to shatter worlds down to their core. But humanity had learned to manipulate the very fabric of space during their dimensional exile. Helen Carter, now commanding Earth's primary defense grid, activated systems that existed in pure dimensional space. The Planet Cracker missiles found themselves caught between layers of reality. Their destructive power dispersed across infinite parallel spaces where it could harm nothing. "Weapons neutralized," Helen reported calmly. "Shall we end this, Admiral Morrison?" Admiral Morrison gave the order that would reshape galactic politics forever. "All human forces, Dimensional Strike Pattern Omega. Show them what we learned in 50 years of exile." Every human ship in the system synchronized their dimensional weapons and fired simultaneously. The Dominion fleet, spread across thousands of kilometers of space, found itself under attack from every direction at once as weapons materialized inside their hulls from parallel dimensions. In less than 10 minutes, the largest invasion force in galactic history was reduced to floating debris and emergency beacons. Admiral Krex's flagship drifted powerless in space, its crew stunned by a defeat so complete it seemed like divine intervention. Humanity had won its first major battle since returning to normal space. But the victory sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Every species now understood that the old rules of warfare no longer applied. Earth was not just back, it was supreme. The galaxy held its breath in the weeks following humanity's crushing victory over the Dominion Empire. News of the battle spread across every star system, carrying with it a simple message that changed everything. Humanity had become the most powerful force in known space, and they had won their first test without losing a single ship. President Kevin Clark stood before the assembled Galactic Council in chambers that had been hastily modified to accommodate Earth's dimensional technology. Representatives from 1,000 worlds watched as he addressed them through communication systems that existed in multiple layers of reality simultaneously. Fellow beings of the galaxy, Kevin began, his words carried across space by dimensional transmitters that made his voice heard instantly on every civilized world. Humanity has returned, but we have not returned as conquerors. We offer partnership, not domination. Chancellor Zara listened with a mixture of relief and lingering fear. The human fleet that had destroyed the Dominion could easily conquer the entire galaxy if they chose to do so. Instead, they were offering to share their technology and knowledge with those willing to accept humanity as equals. Admiral Morrison stood beside the president, representing Earth's military might that now dwarfed every other force in the galaxy combined. We propose the creation of a new galactic alliance, Morrison announced, one based on cooperation rather than fear, where technology is shared for the benefit of all species. Dr. Peter Hayes activated a dimensional display that showed the galaxy as humanity now saw it, with layers of parallel space visible alongside normal reality. We will teach selected allies to perceive dimensional layers and to harness energies that exist between worlds. But this knowledge comes with responsibility. The offer sent shockwaves through galactic politics. Species that had fought each other for centuries suddenly found themselves faced with the possibility of technologies that could solve their greatest problems. Dying worlds could be healed with dimensional energy, interstellar travel could be revolutionized, and conflicts could be resolved without bloodshed. Dr. Lisa Crawford now served as Earth's Minister of Colonial Affairs, coordinating the integration of human settlements that had been scattered for 50 years. The colonies brought their own innovations developed during decades of isolation, creating a network of human worlds connected by instantaneous dimensional travel. Every human settlement will become a center of learning and growth, Lisa explained to the council. We will establish dimensional research facilities on any world that requests them, sharing our knowledge while learning from your unique perspectives. Amy Crawford had been promoted to Chief of Dimensional Engineering, responsible for adapting human technology to work with alien systems. Her first project involved helping the drought-stricken world of Kepler Prime access water from parallel dimensions where their oceans had never dried up. The beauty of dimensional science, Amy told the Kepler delegation, is that it allows us to fix problems by reaching into alternate realities where those problems never existed. Your world can have water again without taking it from anyone else. But not every species welcomed humanity's offer of partnership. The remnants of the Dominion Empire, led by the survivors of Admiral Krex's defeated fleet, retreated to the galaxy's outer rim where they plotted revenge against the humans, who had humiliated them. Captain Nicole Price commanded the dimensional patrol fleets that monitored these holdout territories. Her ships could observe Dominion activities across multiple layers of space, making it impossible for the former empire to plan attacks without human knowledge. They're building new weapons, Nicole reported during a security briefing. Devices designed to disrupt dimensional fields. They think they can find a way to fight us on equal terms. Admiral Morrison studied the intelligence reports with calm confidence. Let them try. 50 years of dimensional research has given us capabilities they cannot imagine. If they want another demonstration of human power, we will provide one. The first test of the new galactic order came when the Zephyrian Confederation requested help with a crisis that threatened their entire species. Their homeworld was being consumed by a stellar phenomenon that their science could not stop or understand. Tony Walker led the dimensional rescue mission that would relocate 12 billion Zephyrians to a parallel version of their world where the stellar crisis had never occurred. His team included humans who had been born between dimensions and possessed abilities that seemed miraculous to other species. Phase shift initiated, Tony announced as his fleet prepared to move an entire civilization to safety. All Zephyrian vessels prepare for dimensional translation. You're about to see your homeworld as it was meant to be. The rescue operation succeeded flawlessly, demonstrating humanity's commitment to using their power for protection rather than conquest. The grateful Zephyrians became Earth's first major allies in the new galactic order, offering their advanced biotechnology in exchange for dimensional science. Helen Carter established the Dimensional Academy on Earth's moon, where representatives from friendly species could learn the basics of multidimensional existence. The Academy's students included diplomats, scientists, and military officers who would return to their homeworlds as teachers and ambassadors. Understanding dimensional space changes how you see reality itself, Helen explained to her first class of alien students. When you learn to perceive multiple layers of existence, you realize that most problems have solutions, if you know where to look for them. The scattered, human colonies evolved into centers of galactic civilization as dimensional technology revolutionized interstellar society. Worlds that had been isolated by vast distances found themselves connected by travel routes that crossed space in minutes rather than months. Ryan Foster, the merchant who had first encountered returning humanity, now captained trade vessels that could carry goods across the galaxy instantaneously. His ships brought prosperity to worlds that had never dreamed of interstellar commerce, creating wealth and opportunity on a scale never before imagined. It's like the galaxy suddenly became a neighborhood, Ryan marveled as he watched cargo being transferred between dimensions. Worlds that were weeks apart are now closer than different cities used to. B. The final confrontation with Dominion holdouts came when they attempted to destroy Earth using a weapon that could supposedly disrupt dimensional fields. The attack failed completely when human defenses simply shifted the weapon's energy into parallel space where it harmlessly dissipated. President Clark's response to the failed attack established the principles that would guide humanity's role in galactic affairs for generations to come. "We will defend ourselves and our allies," he declared, "but we will not seek revenge. Those who accept our friendship will prosper. Those who threaten galactic peace will find themselves isolated and powerless." Alex Turner, the explorer who had first investigated Earth's disappearance, now served as humanity's chief ambassador to the Galactic Council. In his final report, he reflected on the transformation that had changed everything. 50 years ago, we thought humanity was lost, Alex wrote. Instead, they found themselves. They returned not as the species that left, but as something greater. Earth's children now watch over the galaxy, not as masters but as guardians. The age of fear has ended. The age of hope has begun. The galaxy had learned that sometimes what appears to be an ending is actually the beginning of something far more wonderful than anyone dared imagine.